Good evening, Tallahassee. I'm student meteorologist Josh Millay here with your Thursday night weather forecast. And to welcome in the first show, we're going to start with our live look at Doak. It's very beautiful as we see the sun shine through with some of the clouds. However, as you noticed, there is some rain activity that will be coming on through this evening, so we may not be able to see our beautiful signature sunset. Currently, we are at 86 with just partly cloudy skies, but expect some storms to come in the next hour or two. As you see, some storms have been pushing through this afternoon, and basically, we should expect some storms very shortly. And we also have a thunderstorm warning out in Jefferson County. So tonight, we'll be expecting 70 degrees tonight, partly cloudy, but we shall have some storms coming through in the area. And tomorrow, expect 91 degrees with scattered thunderstorms, so make sure to have an umbrella tomorrow morning as you walk and avoid Legacy Walk. Today's headlines, we're going to have the weather bird of the week, flooding event in the southwest, and we're going to see the tropics ramp up. So stay tuned and enjoy the show.
Good evening, folks, and welcome to the Thursday edition of FSU Weather. I'm student meteorologist Aaron Saray.
And I'm student meteorologist Nico Sapienza.
We want to welcome you back here for the first Thursday show of the semester. So again, this is a really exciting day historically in FSU Weather, and we'll think it'll continue, of course, this year. But honestly, first off, we're seeing some showers on radar. How about that?
Yes, we are. Actually, we just watched it on top of the roof. There was some rotation in that a bit earlier, so definitely keep your eyes to the sky this evening. There is a severe thunderstorm warning out to the east of here, so if you're traveling east, be aware of that.
That's right. Again, you always have to be careful whenever here in Tallahassee right now this afternoon, as we had those storms that could potentially be on the stronger side, as we have a marginal risk of severe weather. But you know, Josh, what's going on right now locally live outside near Doak? It looks really nice outside, right?
Yeah, it looks beautiful outside, but keep in mind, we're also starting. As you may have heard, there was some you heard thunder, you might have saw lightning and some rain. So as you see, the Doak is at Doak Campbell, we are seeing the sun point out really nicely. We're currently at 86, and while it's partly cloudy, we are expecting some thunderstorms in the area. So currently, we're hanging around the mid to upper 80s and also low 70s at Thomas. Actually, we're at 77 in Monticello, 75 in Thomasville as a result of the rain. So we are currently seeing some dew points in the mid-60s going to the upper 70s. That's very, very moist. So I just remember it's not going to be as nice going outside tonight. So currently we're seeing with our temperature almanac that our high today we reached was 95, not too far off from our record high of 99 in 2019, but we're also nowhere near our low. So we do need to keep an eye on those temperatures. Now, as we go through to our day, hour by hour for tomorrow, we're going to be starting off in the 70s, but we're going to build up to the 90s, 91 by 1 p.m., 92 at 2, and we're going to hit our high by 3 p.m. So make sure that you stay outside and get some water, but also keep an umbrella because we should expect some rain to cool us down. Speaking of rain, we are seeing some rain come through right now, especially through Tallahassee and going through Cairo and into Jefferson County, which we actually have a thunderstorm warning. So if you're in Jefferson County, make sure you get inside and just stay away from any electronics. And also you can take shelter in a car as well. So just stay off the roads and shelter in place until this thunderstorm passes. For future radar, we're seeing this rain pass through. We're also going to have rain pass through tonight, especially going through tomorrow afternoon, especially around 3 p.m. and going into the evening. So watch out for the evening commute tomorrow because that will be the most treacherous time to drive as a result of the rain. Tomorrow's forecast, we are going to be hanging around the actually tonight we're at mid-70s. So it'll be a decent night, but keep in mind we're still going to be having to deal with those thunderstorms. So make sure you avoid going outside unless you really have to, and make sure to carry an umbrella. And for those on FSU, avoid Legacy Walk because it has a chance to flood. Finally, as we go to tomorrow's forecast, we should expect some rain coming through. We're going to be at 92 in Tallahassee, 86 at St. Mark's, and upper 80s near the coast, hotspot being Tallahassee, Bainbridge, and Quincy. So as we go to tomorrow, we're going to, again, as I said before, not the best time to be driving around 3 o'clock, so make sure you get inside. And as we prepare for our football game on Saturday, we're going to need to be prepared for rain, so make sure to bring your umbrella to the football game. Now, Aaron, what's going on through the rest of the state?
Well, Josh, for the most part across the state of Florida, it's kind of the same picture here again with those reds and those magentas, very, very red, garnet, so to speak, in some colors, right? Some wavelengths, just across the whole state because it's really hot. We have those temperatures in the upper 80s to low 90s here, pretty much across the entire Sunshine State. So really a pretty typical summertime pattern here, at least in Florida, with those storms actually off closer towards the 75 corridor, making away from kind of perhaps a little bit more of a turbulent, so to speak, travel if you're traveling along I-10 towards I-75. Now, the dew points are fairly high there in the middle 70s around the coast, or Tampa downwards towards about Miami, and then into Keys here. But even kind of towards the Panhandle, also kind of staying a little bit on the muggier side on the coastline. Now, where you see those greens, those lighter greens here in the central part of the state, you have, for the most part, those kind of rain-cooled air. It's kind of helping to drop the temperature and the dew point slightly. And what that's doing is allowing for a slightly more refreshing temperature, so to speak. But I say slight in relative terms just because, you know, we're still in the summertime, and this would be really warm and humid for the summer, or for the wintertime, excuse me. So satellite radar does show, again, for the most part, mostly clear skies, except we do have some storms that are developing over the past couple hours or so. So as we kind of slowly here taper through the radar, you can see that that thunderstorm development right around 75 and upward, pretty much along the spine of the state, moving slowly off towards the east here as we have a general southeasterly flow with that sea breeze that's allowing these storms to kind of push their way a little bit farther inland today. And that's what, again, so places like Polk County here in central Florida, Sumter County, Lake County here, having the chance for perhaps a thunderstorm or two over the next several hours. And then closer to our area, we also have those thunderstorms off towards our east. And actually, one of them is warned, where you see this little orange box here, where my tip of my finger is right here, just off to the east in Jefferson County. So we'll have to watch out if you're traveling on the interstate there. So this is our rainfall forecast over the next about 3 days or so, showing those blue, those green colors indicating around an inch and a half, maybe 2 inches or so in some locally heavy spots where perhaps you might get a couple rounds of storms over the next several days. So again, watch out, just typical summertime weather, nothing really too extravagant. So if you're headed out to the great city of Miami here, we are staying in the lower 90s for at least Friday through Sunday. The rain chances pick up a little, at least as they go towards the end of the week there to near 40%. Tampa, kind of the same story, except they might be a tad cooler in the upper 80s to low 90s there. Again, 50% chance of showers Friday, Saturday into Sunday. Orlando, I feel like a record here. Pretty similar story here with low 90s. Perhaps a little bit higher rain chance on Friday and Saturday, and then Sunday they might come down a tad. So tomorrow's forecast across the state, pretty much a rinse and repeat or so of today, with those temperatures up in the upper or in the lower 90s or so. So Nico, how do you feel about those lower 90 temperatures? Still pretty hot, huh?
Yeah, it's definitely pretty hot for this time of the year. So hopefully we can get some cool fronts to come through soon. But right now we're looking at around the southeast. We're looking at Miami. You're pretty hot right now too, with temperatures in the upper 80s. Tampa, Atlanta, Clemson, South Carolina, you're all in the 90s right now. It does look like there's some storms now developing in Tampa. Earlier there was a smoke plume, so hopefully that has gotten taken care of because I don't see it anymore. But looking around your southeast, look at Shreveport, Louisiana. That's the first temperature you can see here that sticks out, 101 degrees. You know that that's way too hot for this time of the year. Tallahassee, we're only at 84 because we just had a thunderstorm. So that's the only reason we're actually a bit cooler. We do have our winds out of the southwest behind this storm, but across the state of Florida, you have your southeast winds with the Atlantic sea breeze, except right on the west coast near Tampa, you have got the Gulf sea breeze that has come in. So that's something that's going to cause a sea breeze collision as we head into later today and potentially some storms. You can already see storms, Georgia, Florida, and parts of Louisiana. All of these areas have a chance for strong to severe storms this evening, so definitely keep an eye to the sky. As you look at your relative humidity everywhere that's in the moist area, this is where you're having the storms. Parts of Alabama and Mississippi where you're not having any storms, it's very dry right now. Your heat index right now, though, look at what you see in Louisiana, 104 in New Orleans and 115 degrees heat index in Shreveport. That's oppressive heat. This temperature here in Tallahassee was 96 earlier. It has cooled down to about 89 because of the showers and storms. Tampa, you're feeling like almost 100 degrees right now, so it's pretty hot area-wide. But looking at your SPC storm outlook, you can see we have a marginal risk extending from West Virginia and Virginia all the way to include Tallahassee, where we do have severe storm warnings just to the east of here. Louisiana, you're in a marginal risk, as well as Oklahoma, so if you know anyone in these areas, let them know to be weather aware this evening. Tomorrow, you have an even higher threat of severe weather. You have a slight risk for the Arklatex area, parts of Oklahoma. Shreveport, you're in this higher risk of storms tomorrow, so definitely pay attention and keep an eye to the sky if you're out here tomorrow. Saturday, you got more of the same story, as you do have a marginal risk in southeast Texas. This is going to include Houston. They don't show it on the map, but Houston's about right here, and you're going to have to worry about potential for severe storms. Looking at your next 48 hours, you see the big MCS through Louisiana, as well as the pop-up storms tomorrow afternoon, along with the frontal boundary. So if you're going to be anywhere on the I-10 corridor, you really need to keep an eye to the sky as we do head into tomorrow evening. But Friday night, or tonight actually, our low is going to be about 71 degrees. So it's going to be pretty nice tonight. Now looking into tomorrow, we have another chance of storms pretty much around the entire southeast except for maybe around Atlanta, where you do have some drier air. But now I'm going to pass things off to Aaron.
Thanks, Nico. And actually, I saw on that slide we had a 61-degree low temperature there across northern portions of Alabama and Mississippi. So that actually feels pretty good this time of year. And of course, we're waiting for that time when we get those 60s. But kind of changing gears here to the tropics, we actually have a really busy tropics, and whoa, quite a big blob there you see just coming off the coast of Africa near Senegal there. So really we'll have to watch how this kind of evolves over the next several days to weeks or so. But the big story, of course, is our now Category 4 Hurricane Lee, located at 16.9 north and 51.3 west, moving off to the west-northwest at 15 miles an hour and winds at 130 miles per hour. Just remember, folks, we had just a tropical storm not even a couple days ago. So this thing is the textbook definition of rapidly intensifying. So it is definitely on its way to potentially what the National Hurricane Center is saying is a Category 5 storm. We also have Margaret now out in the far eastern Atlantic there, so 16.9 or 16.8 north, and 28.3 west, winds at 40 miles per hour, so just barely hanging on to tropical storm status. We'll have to watch and see how this kind of develops over the next several days or so as well. Now, Hurricane Lee, this is the big one we'll have to watch. And see that big 5 there? That is the Hurricane Center now predicting a 65 mile per hour Category 5 hurricane. That is a very strong hurricane, may I add to that. And it is generally moving off to the north and west or so. Of course, the big question comes after when we get towards day 5 or so out here, just north of Hispaniola and Puerto Rico. Many models, again, want to show it moving off and curving off towards the northern Atlantic there, but we'll have to watch over the next several days. There has been a tiny bit of a trend back to the west, but nothing overly concerning right now. But again, it is peak hurricane season here out in the Atlantic, so we'll just have to keep monitoring that over the next several days or so. Water vapor imagery, wow, look at all those greens, those deep greens. I'll step out of the picture here just to kind of show you how marvelous it looks on satellite here. Again, I say that because it's out over the open waters and not affecting anybody but the fish. But again, that is a textbook definition or a textbook look at what a strong storm looks like. And most of the models, as I mentioned, continue on its northwesterly track until eventually it looks like a recurve to the north. But again, like I said, we have to keep watch for this as we get to that day period, as we have to watch kind of how these different atmospheric phenomena like high pressure systems and troughs kind of play around with the storm. Tropical Storm Margaret the NHC does want to kind of bring it as a Category 1 hurricane off to the north and west or so, kind of feeling the weakness in the ridge there in the central Atlantic. So again, some hurricane season advice. Stay weather aware, watch for NHC updates, review your hurricane plans and stock up on hurricane kits, and always be prepared. You should already be prepared now, but just be prepared. So we're going to pass things over to the desk with Nikki and Nico.
Yes, thank you, Aaron. Yeah, it's definitely a good idea to be staying weather aware. During hurricane season, there's always the chance of getting a hurricane, so it's definitely something to pay attention to. But now we're going to shift gears and talk about the monsoon that's affecting the Southwest.
Yeah, so first we should talk about what a monsoon is. And if we skip to the next segment in the graphics, we'll be discussing that. And so a monsoon is basically, monsoon season here is when in the Southwest, there's a lot of pressure going on and a lot of rain is coming to that area.
Yeah, if you have a lot of low pressure systems, the low pressure tends to be off the southwestern coast near Mexico more, but it does tend to bring a lot of moisture into the Southwest, so that's something they have to pay attention to. at this part, as the low pressure is off the coast, you have the high pressure on the land, and between the pressure systems, you have thunderstorms coming into the southwest, and this tends to happen in the summer, so right around this time of the year.
Yeah, it's definitely, you can definitely tell. I was actually in Utah recently and I saw a monsoon season for myself. It's pretty crazy. It may make you say, weather what? As the segment is called. It just a lot of rain and it's pretty flat over there. Well, there's a lot of mountains over there, I meant to say. And even if it's raining like 50 miles north of where you are, you could see effects from flash flooding move all the way down there.
Yeah, that's definitely true, because in the mountainous areas, if you live in the valleys, all the rain is going to come straight down into the valleys, and you'll end up under flash flood warnings. And as you look over the next couple days, the monsoon is going right into those parts of Arizona, Nevada, California. Friday and Saturday, it looks like you might dry out a little bit on Sunday, though.
Yeah, the 1st to the 3rd, there was recorded up to 4 inches of rain over there, which may not sound like a lot to us Floridians, but over there it can have detrimental effects. As you can see in this picture at Burning Man, 73,000 attendees were there and they were stranded for many days, and there was even a death recorded as well.
Yeah, and that's definitely not good, and you do have to worry about mudslides and flash floodings too, but definitely pay attention to your warnings. If you get a flash flood emergency, then you know it's really happening.
Yeah, so if you're caught in a flash flood, make sure you get to higher ground and try not to drown. Now, you know, there's going to be some heat in the southwest, so let's hear about that with Josh.
That's right, Nikki. We've been definitely under heat advisories in the southwest, going all the way across to Texas. So we've been seeing it, especially yesterday, through eastern Texas, going from Dallas down to Houston and even westward. Now, thankfully for those in Dallas, we are out of that heat advisory for today. But however, we're still very much in heat advisories throughout Austin, Corpus Christi, Houston. So make sure that if you are caught in those heat advisories, make sure to stay inside and take some precautions. Current temperatures, we are at 108 in Dallas, 100 triple digits across from Oklahoma City to Houston. The only place that's avoiding triple digits is Alpine at 91, but even then it's still very hot, so you want to get inside and drink some water. So make sure if you do suffer heat stroke or heat exhaustion, get inside, and especially for heat stroke, you may want to go to the hospital and get medical attention. Current dew points, we are feeling a lot better, not as humid at 41 in Alpine, 51 in Midland, and we're feeling a lot warmer, a lot higher dew points from 63 down to 76 in Corpus Christi. Now, for current field-like temperatures, while it does feel better in Alpine, everywhere else in Texas and going down to Shreveport at 120. My goodness, that is, no. Stay inside. Just stay inside if you need to. Put on the air conditioner to full blast and just drink some water. We're seeing as we see, Dallas has the biggest temperature anomaly, as long as with New Orleans with 14 degrees higher than normal. That's something that you need to keep in mind. All across the rest of the state, we're seeing it a little bit better, but Dallas and Texas overall just has it the worst. Now, currently, we are unfortunately not going to be seeing any of that rain. So while we do want to hear from see those monsoons bring some rain in, unfortunately, we're not going to see that anytime soon. But we will have some rain coming through, especially from Arkansas, going down into working its way into Louisiana. So that can be really for those under that heat advisory over there. Future radar shows, again, same story. We have some rain coming off the coast from Oklahoma down into Arkansas, moving its way down through Louisiana to help comfort that heat advisory. And finally, for tomorrow, expect triple digits, stay inside, and don't go outside. I don't know why. But moving on, Nikki, tell us about the bird of the week.
Oh my gosh, Josh, I am so excited about this new segment. It is the bird of the week. This week, we're traveling to a place that's hot, but definitely not as hot as Texas right now. I am hoping that everyone there is staying cool this week. But little drum roll for the bird of the week. It is the American white ibis. Let's go. It is a great bird. I am so excited to be the first one to show off the bird of the week. It's found along the Atlantic coast. You can see it as far up north as in North Carolina and on the Gulf Coast, all the way down west to Louisiana, right over by where that heat wave is happening. It seems to be mostly in the southwest. And a fun little fact about the ibis is that it is the last wildlife to seek shelter before a hurricane, and it's the first to come back after a hurricane ends. There's a little folklore for you there. I think that's super interesting weather fact about this bird. And a place that the white ibis is prevalent is Key West. So we're going to be looking at the weather down there, down to our south. Right now it is 84 degrees. It's a little bit toasty there, but you know, what do you expect? You're in the south, you're in the Keys, by the beach perhaps. I bet those birds love going, maybe having a little suntan. I know I wish I could right now. The high today in Key West was 92 degrees, and it's pretty similar to the average and not too far off from the record as well. So, you know, pretty average around this time of year. Nothing that we haven't seen before. Around the Keys, you know, right now 89 in Big Pine and Cedar Key, 88 in Key West, a whole degree cooler, and a little bit cooler actually in Duck Key. You know, they probably are really loving the weather, these birds. They love the warmth. Pretty dry there as well. And for the next 4 days, you can see most of the same, pretty warm and not rainy. But now we're going to come back to Tallahassee and look at our lifestyle with Nico.
Yes, thank you, Nikki. As you can look around, all around Tallahassee, you can see the pop-up storms. They are starting to weaken. Lake Bradford has their camera back up. It hasn't been up for a couple days. You can see this area is further south. They didn't experience as much in the way of storms as some of the other parts of Tallahassee this evening. But looking around at your current temperatures, you can easily see where the storms have affected. Monticello at 77, Thomasville at 75. Areas like Crawfordville and St. Mark's and Madison, which did not see storms yet, you're closer to 90 degrees right now. So you may have to watch for storms later this evening, as they do tend to build where the heat still is. And as you look at your dew points area-wide, you can easily see why we are experiencing more storms today. It is more humid with the higher dew point, 67-degree dew point in Tallahassee. But Thomasville and Monticello, you're near 75 degrees right now in terms of dew point. That is oppressive heat. Madison and Perry, we have not gotten your data back yet, but you can see them in the dark green area, so they may have to worry about those storms heading out that way later tonight. But as we head into later this evening, if you want to view the moon, we have a waxing crescent. We're going to have good conditions. It is expected to clear out as we head towards sunset until our next round of storms comes through tomorrow afternoon. But Tallahassee International, we are saying no delays right now, but you need to pay attention and check your flight status because there is thunderstorms being reported right now at the airport. So that could easily change. If you're looking around all these airports, hopefully you're not flying into New York City right now because they're experiencing high delays, but anywhere else you should be fine. If you're going to Dallas, you might not want to be outside for very long with that temperature. But heading into tomorrow, 91 degrees, higher coverage of storms than today. So definitely be aware of that if you're going to be going outside. Looking at your dog walk forecast, you probably want to walk your dog around 9 a.m. I think it won't storm at 7 a.m., but as you head later in the day, we are going to start getting more moisture, more pop-up storms, and by 11 a.m., we may be having storms here in Tallahassee, so you're going to want to try to be indoors at that point. Same thing if you're going swimming. Do it in the morning. The temperature is better for it in the afternoon. The lightning is not. You don't want to get struck by lightning while you're in the water, and tomorrow is expected to be a high coverage day in terms of those pop-up storms. Now, if you're out on the beach, it's going to be a little bit cooler due to the sea breeze, so you may want to be on the beach tomorrow. I think this is still a little bit chillier than it will actually be, and also a little bit chilly to get in the water, but they won't have storms, so that's a good place to be outside. But heading into tomorrow night, if you're going out the night before the game, the storms are expected to linger a little bit later tomorrow, so that's definitely something to be aware of. And your next 4 days, we do have to deal with these afternoon storms, maybe a little bit less coverage on Sunday. Monday we get hotter and the coverage of storms goes back higher again. But now I'm going to pass things off to Josh.
Thank you, Nico. So as you look back at the local, we're currently taking a look at the res. It looks really beautiful outside, unlike the storms that we will see later on this evening, but those should clear out, as Nico said. Now, currently, we are hanging around the mid to upper 80s, although we do have some cool spots, 75 in Thomasville, 77 in Madison, a hot spot at 90 in Madison as well. So as you look at wind speed and direction, we're staying relatively calm, although we do have an easterly wind of 15 miles an hour in Tallahassee. So tonight's forecast, we will still have that rain come through, but by 10 tonight, it should clear up. So we're going to be hanging around the mid-70s, 74 at Carabel and 74 at St. Mark's, 68 as a cool spot in Thomasville. Now, as we mentioned, the rain will clear up this afternoon, but as you see, we'll also see some more rain come in tomorrow night, so especially around 5 p.m. So make sure that you get your umbrellas and avoid legacy walk if you're walking on FSU, especially around that time because it does flood. Again, turn around, don't drown. So don't try driving in flooded waters. So I agree with Nico. It's probably not going to rain at 6 a.m. as we saw on the radar. Noon we have a chance of rain, but expect that rain chance to really be the most around the evening commute hours, especially 6 p.m. So make sure if you're driving during that time, just take it slower, use your lights, use the flasher, don't use your flashers, and use your wipers. As you see, for women's soccer tonight, we will have some rain coming through in Jacksonville, actually in Tallahassee. In Jacksonville, that's a completely different story. We'll be having clear skies, no chance of rain whatsoever, and as we progress through the game, it will get cooler and feel much more comfortable. Jacksonville will have a 3-day outlook of basically just mid-50s in terms of chance of rain, but we're mainly going to be hanging around 91. For volleyball tonight in Orlando, we're going to have a really nice weather. Hi to everybody that's in Orlando. Love you all. But anyhow, so we have 93 currently in Orlando, but we're going to go down to 82 by 10 p.m. So that'll be a very nice change. Orlando, aka the City of Beautiful or my home, is basically going to be having the same rain chances, but it's not going to be as high as in Jacksonville. It's going to be highest tomorrow, but it's going to get lower as we go through the week, and we'll expect those mid-90s. For football against whoever these people are, we're going to be mainly have nice temperatures in the mid-80s, and then finally, as we go to our weekday planner, expect that rain to come through. Hopefully, it doesn't dampen our game, but we should have some really nice rain coming. We should have some nicer temperatures coming through this week. And finally, for the week ahead, rain might dampen our game, but we'll have a contingency plan. And just remember, just enjoy the beautiful temperatures coming through later this week. Now, Nikki, tell us about the end of the show.
Thank you, Josh. What a great way to end out this show by looking at that 7-day. It is going to be hot, hot, hot in Tallahassee, but nothing we haven't seen before. I personally am really, really looking forward to those fall temperatures coming back, hopefully soon, sooner than later. But as we discussed on the show, there's a lot going on in Tallahassee, a lot of sports going on. There's always something to do here. I'm super excited about that football game on Saturday against that other school, Southern Miss. We got that. We will be doing super well. I feel so good about our chances with the guys playing that football. But other things going on, super hot in other places of the states like Texas, up to 107 degrees. Did you see that? I could not even imagine. My friend Bree over at Texas Christian University seems to be super hot. You got to make sure that you're drinking water, putting on that sunscreen every time you go outside. And, you know, let's keep up to date as well. Follow us on Twitter, follow us or like us on Facebook. We do a lot of social media. We have YouTube as well. That's probably what you're watching us on right now. And follow us on Instagram as well. We will be posting on there quite a bit. And TikTok too. Don't forget about TikTok. We post some pretty fire videos on there. But I hope everyone has a great evening. I'm student meteorologist Nikki Kanakis. And aren't you glad that you tuned in to FSU Weather?